It's time for the 9th round of the historic Formula Ford Championship here at Oulton Park. Let's see what happened in the qualification race earlier on. First of 4 historic Formula Ford races at Oulton Park all the way with Darwin Smith making the best start, pouncing into the lead in the unique Smith Special. Starting in 3rd place. Dan Eaglin, who started 8th, 3rd by the end of the first lap. And then he led out of the Shell Oils hairpin as Smith's car broke in David Boyle 2nd and Neil Shinner 3rd. Red flags flew though for an incident involving Jeff Underwood, so a shortened restart was needed and another rolling start as all the races were here at Oulton Park. In 2nd place, Cormac Flanagan tried to make a move on Neil Shinner but outbraked himself and went off the circuit. There were great battles here. Mike Wrigley's Lotus 59 leading the way, but out front it was the Lotus 61 of Dan Eaglin that took the win. So with the result of that race lining up 13th and back off the grid, let's have a look at the full grid. In qualifying it was Ben Sims who set the quickest lap in the session, and Richard Tarling was quickest in the other session. In here, be on the front row. Sam Mitchell, 1/1000th of a second off of Ben Sims, will go in 3rd place, and alongside him will be Callum Grant. Championship leader Michael O'Brien starts 5th, and he is in the middle of the 5 Merlins, being led by Mitchell Grant, then O'Brien, Max Bartel and Ben Tilley making those 5 Merlins in those 5 positions. Ed Thurston, James Buckton, Matt Wrigley, Roland Svensson and Alistair Littlewood also going through from the qualifying sessions yesterday. Then Dan Eaglin 13th after winning the race. The qualification race delays during Sunday, meaning this race taking place on Monday, so the race is having to wait quite a long time for this race. 3 historic Formula Ford races in one day. It's a rolling start and away they go. They charge down towards Old Hall for the first time, and Richard Tarling sweeps round the outside to pass poleman Ben Sims. As the rest of the field flow their way through, then head down towards the avenue for the first time in this 20-minute race. And looking back from Sims, Mitchell's looking to the outside, but it's Michael O'Brien that goes to the inside. We're back from Callum Grant, aren't we? The 2 cars look quite similar from this angle. So in 2nd place it's Sims. Grant's gone 3rd on the inside of Mitchell, and Michael O'Brien now under pressure because Max Bartel goes down the inside into Island Bend. So down to 4th place it's gone Mitchell. He started 3rd. So him and Grant are swapped round. Bartel up to 5th then. In 6th is O'Brien. The championship leader's lost a place. In 7th position is Ed Thurston, and in 8th is Ben Tilley. Tilley fresh out of the qualifying session in his Lotus Formula Junior where he got pole position, but he's down in 8th place at the moment. He's right on the tail of Ed Thurston's Eldon as they come over hilltop and charge down towards Knickerbrook. Tilley knows he's quicker than Thurston. He wants to get on the move on this, and he goes down the inside super late on the brakes in towards the chicane. A big handful of opposite lock through the chicane, through the Hislop chicane for Tilley, but he does go through. He is up into 7th place. He's got a gap though to catch on the far 6 up ahead. Up towards the Druids, double right-handed corner they go. But it is Richard Tarling then that leads the way. A great start from him, swooping around the outside of Ben Sims. Sims is under pressure now because Callum Grant's coming round the outside into Lodge Corner. He couldn't find a way through though. In 4th position it is Sam Mitchell, and the rest of the field sweep their way through. Battles all the way through the field here. There's Mike Wrigley's Lotus challenging Andrew Wiggins, but for 2nd place Callum Grant continuing to challenge it on the inside of Ben Sims. Now he goes into 2nd place. So Grant, who didn't have a good weekend at all at Croft, is making up for lost points here at Oulton Park. He started 4th and is 2nd at the beginning of lap 2. 32, that's Nigel Adams. He's just ahead of Harvey Sykes there, and Peter Hannum there completing their field. But let's ride aboard now with Kevin Stanzel. He's turning left through Cascades. The cement dust through there from a spillage in the earlier session, like somebody's run out wide over front. There's a bit of grass kicked up, but Kevin Stanzel, he's making a move on Stuart Dix. He's going down the inside into Island Bend, and he goes through, so the Crosley getting the better of the Cooper there. And now he turned his way up into the banked right-handed hairpin at Shell Oils. Max Bartel heading down towards the Hislop and Knickerbrook chicane, and late on the brakes is Michael O'Brien. He goes down the inside, he gains the place. So into 5th position now is O'Brien, down to 6th for Bartel. They climb up Clay Hill now underneath the pedestrian bridge and up towards the Druid section, using the slipstream. Bartel back onto the tail of O'Brien, the championship leader. Tarling got his 2nd win of the season last time out at Croft. He's going for win number 3 here at Oulton Park, and he's got a gap to Callum Grant. Good result here for Tarling, really bring him back into the championship equation. Side by side there is Tim Bryce, looks to get the better of Stuart Dix, but back to the leaders in towards Oulton. It is 53 Tarling, 1 Grant, 3 is Sims, 40 is Mitchell, 94 is O'Brien. It's side by side for 6 because Ben Tilley looks down the inside, but he can't find a way through there. But behind there was a change. That was James Buckton getting the better of Ed Thurston, and the Bryce and Dix battle continues in towards Oulton. Bryce goes through, but he runs out wide. Further up the road, Matt Wrigley is challenging Alistair Littlewood. He's going right round the outside at Cascades. He couldn't find a way through there. Littlewood going really well here at Oulton Park. But he's under a lot of pressure from Matt Wrigley, who's looking to the inside in towards Island Bend. It's a fast left-hander that is, but Wrigley unable to find a way through. Different lines taken through the Shells hairpin and up towards the Britain chicane. Not really an overtaking spot. Just behind Cormac Flanagan we can ride on board now. He is in the Alexis, the former Ben Sims car. The British chicane. It's David Wild up ahead of us. In the Neil Fowler Motorsport Lola, he's looking to gain a place. He's looking to the outside of the car ahead. Oh, that is Greg Thornton, who's also racing his Formula 5000 car here. Thornton also a winner in the FIA Historic Masters Formula 1 Championship. Wild and Flanagan right with him there. Down towards Lodge Bend, and Callum Grant is catching Richard Tarling, isn't he? That gap is coming down, and Ben Sims and Sam Mitchell trying to go with him. He got O'Brien ahead of the battle between Bartow and Tilley. James Buckton is 8th, Ed Thurston 9th, and up to 10th has come Dan Eaglin, the winner of the qualification race earlier on. Svensson, Littlewood and Wrigley are up next. There's a good battle for 14th place, and that is the battle being led by Greg Thornton, but it was Cormac Flanagan that went round the outside to gain the place of Wild, and now he's challenging Thornton up towards Oulton. He goes down the inside and he gets the place. Neil Shinner goes round the outside of David Wild. Kevin Stanton involved in that battle as well, so that's the best battle on the track for 14th spot, and Cormac Flanagan there going around the outside to have the position. Side by side action there. Let's look to this. It's Rudolph Ernst looking down the inside of Nigel Adams, and he goes through. Let's go back to Matt Wrigley's onboard camera, because once again he's right on the tail of Alistair Littlewood as they head out of the Cascade section and now down towards Island Bend. It's really fast left-hander, and Wrigley's gone down the inside this time, and he goes through. He gets the position done. Stuart Dix we can ride on board with. He's challenging Tim Bryce up to that section of circuit, but he couldn't find a way through this time. They are chasing that 5-car battle up ahead into the Island Bend. The Cooper we ride on board with, the only Cooper in the field. Meanwhile, up to Lodges there are the leaders, Tarling and Grant. Then 3rd and 4th, Sims and Mitchell, with Michael O'Brien catching them now. Real gap back to the battle for 6th, but it is a real battle because Ben Tilley looking to the inside, couldn't find a way through. Meanwhile, behind, Ed Thurston's lost another place because through has gone the Lotus of Dan Eaglin, but the Tilley and Bartel battle continuing side by side, and it's side by side up behind as well. Buckton jinked to try and defend the position, and he's just about staying ahead, in fact, round the outside to stay ahead of Dan Eaglin. They head down towards the avenue. A bit further back there's Wrigley ahead of Littlewood. Cormac Flanagan catching them. Neil Shinner's up next, then Greg Thornton to defend into David Wilder behind him. Bryce dives to the inside. to get the better of Kevin Stanzel. Dan Eaglin now has found a way through down towards Cascades to get ahead of James Buckton. Ben Sims is sideways into Island Bend. He's lost a place because Sam Mitchell's come down the inside, so Mitchell up into third now. So these were the two drivers that were separated by just 1,000th of a second in qualifying. Sims starting first, third for Mitchell because of the group system in qualifying. Oh, a big mistake there for Sims though, into the chicane. He runs out of road. He managed to keep on the circuit in fact, but lost a lot of time. Side by side for the Shillelgh's hairpin, that's David Wild looking to the outside of Greg Thornton. Now he's got the speed down towards the British chicane, but nowhere through down there. Behind them is Tim Bride. We're on board with Kevin Stanzel. Mistake for Thornton through there as all the cars. Concertina up over Hilltop, he's defending, but Wild's going to the outside. To the inside looks Bride. When Thornton slowed time out the cockpit, problems for him, and that almost went all wrong there as Tim Bride had to jink out of the toe. Kevin Stanzel having to put two wheels onto the grass, but they all got through there safely in the end. There's Sam Mitchell in third, then Ben Sims chucking the car sideways through Lodge. With Michael O'Brien right behind him, and a change once again behind between Bartel and Tilley. Their battle going strong still. They're the leaders, nose to tail. In a third position is Tarling. There's Sims out over the grass. Is Ben Sims, so that's going to allow Michael O'Brien to get even closer. And there's Ben Tilley trying everything to get back ahead of Max Bartel. He's looking to the inside, down towards the avenue. They're side by side between Eaglin and Buckton there as well as their battle continues. We're riding on board with Max Bartel, so Tilley back ahead. He's defending though in the middle of the road, but Bartel comes further to the left-hand side of the circuit, goes back down the inside and he goes through. Rudolph Ernst and Peter Hannum and Nigel Adams all having a good battle. They turn their way now up towards Old Hall. The Nike for Hannum, 177. Flanagan up towards Shellall's hairpin, and he's under pressure. He's being passed by Neil Shinner. So Shinner in the Merlin going ahead of the Alexis of Flanagan. There's a slow car up ahead. That's Alistair Littlewood, so he's in issue. What a shame for him, going so well before that. So Littlewood looks to be limping the car home. Shinner and Flanagan go ahead. They make their way now down towards the Knickerbrook chicane. Great crowd here for the historic Gold Cup. Event organised by MSV and the HSCC together, but there's a challenge on for fourth here down towards Lodge Corner. That was Michael O'Brien challenging Ben Sims, but Sims staying ahead for now. But a good run out of the corner for O'Brien, the championship leader then. Looking to gain the place, he's right up against the pit wall as he goes through on the inside, and he does get the place. So up into fourth position for Michael O'Brien. Two wheels over the grass for Sims, and behind they're still side by side. That's Bartow and Tilley having this fantastic battle. You got Dan Eaglin and James Buckton behind, with Ed Thurston trying to chase them. Next up it is Roland Svensson, who's been caught by Matt Wrigley. Then you've got Neil Shinner and Cormac Flanagan having their dives. Then a gap back to Tim Bryce and David Wild and Kevin Stanzel, all trying to gain a position in towards Old Hall. It's Bryce at the front of that battle now. Here's Matt Wrigley chasing Roland Svensson down towards Island Bend. This is where he got past Littlewood a few laps ago. Staying behind this time, albeit super late on the brake, round the outside into the Shellall's hairpin, and he gains the place. Alex Meek here, looking to gain a position. He goes down the inside to get ahead of the Lola of Jake Stafford. Druids. This is Ben Tilley having this race-long battle with Max Bartel. Bartel really under pressure now from Tilley. Jinking out the toe is Tilley. He's got the inside line. And Tilley goes through. And it's side by side for the lead. Callum Grant coming round the outside of Richard Tarling in towards Oulton. And Tarling uses all his years of experience to stay ahead of Grant, the multiple historic Formula Ford champion. In third place is Sam Mitchell. Fourth position is Michael O'Brien, but he has Ben Sims still right on his tail. There's Tilley and Bartel in 6th and 7th, and Bartel challenging down towards the avenue. Then you've got Eaglin and Buckton still absolutely nose to tail with Ed first and behind. We're on board with Stuart Diggs, who's chasing after Rob Smith. We've got a 3-car battle up ahead as well. That involving Bryce, Stanzel and Wild. But Diggs tries to go round the outside here of Rob Smith, but unable to do it. Smith, who had an off in qualifying yesterday, so he's had to come through from the back today, or in the qualification race yesterday. David Wild trying to get back past Tim Bryce, unable to do so, as Max Bartel goes back ahead of Ben Tilley in this all action-packed historic Formula Ford race. It's been an action-packed season, hasn't it, for the championship? This is the 19th historic Formula Ford race of the year, although it's only round 9 of the championship because of all the qualification races. The only time we didn't have one was at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, where we had a huge 54-car grid. Tilley bouncing over the curves through the Britain chicane. Tilley in his 2nd season of historic Formula Ford in the Merlin Mark 20 that's owned by Amanda Hadfield. A bit offline there with Bartel, but Tilley unable to use that to get ahead. So they climb up Clay Hill. Bartel, who's a former race winner in the category. Tilley yet to win. Before moving into historic Formula 40, raced in the Junior Saloon Car Championship with Citroen Saxos. Now Tilley challenging Bartel up towards Lodge. He's late on the brakes. He goes down the inside and he goes through. And it's still side by side for the lead as Callum Grant tries everything to get ahead of Richard Tarling, but Tarling putting his car in the right places to stay ahead. O'Brien and Sims continue to battle over 4th place, and then for the 6th place battle, Bartel swoops the back around the outside of Ben Tilley to go back into 6th, with Dan Eaglin and James Buckton are side by side as well. Certainly an all-action-packed race here at Oulton Park. It's not the widest in the circuit, but it lends itself to a Formula Ford race, and it's Roland Spencer now goes round the outside of Matt Wrigley to go 11th. Let's have a look at the battle for the lead then. In towards the Knickerbrook chicane, a big slide there for Richard Tarling, the race leader, the 1998 Formula Palmer Audi champion, staying in front here, looking for win number 3 of the season. It's Callum Grant that's chasing after him. Up towards Druids they go now. Grant sitting 2nd in the championship, 3rd for Tarling. Towards Lodge they go, really up the fence here is Tarling. So Grant going to the outside now as they turn into the right-hander. But Tarling putting his car exactly where Callum Grant wants to go. So Grant unable to find a way through. There's Sam Mitchell, he's still 3rd, battle of 4th. O'Brien and Sims, leaders side by side at Oulton. It's an absolute replay of the last couple of laps. So no place change. What about Ben Sims? He's looking to the inside of Michael O'Brien for 4th. Couldn't find a way through though, so they stay in the same order. What about the Tilley and Bartel battle? Tilley looks to the inside, unable to find a way through. Behind James Buckton, looking to the outside of Dan Eaglin. Eaglin staying in front though. And Ed Thurston, who's in his first full season of car racing, he's just behind. And then Ben Tilley continuing to try and find a way past Max Bartel. He was looking to the outside through Cascades. He couldn't find a way through there, but he's in the tow, he's in the slipstream, heading up towards the island bend. He still can't find a way past. Shell Oil's hairpin they turn. As across the line, Kevin Stanzel challenging Tim Bryce. He's got himself ahead of David Wild. Rob Smith and Stuart Diggs still involved in that battle as well. 20 minutes will elapse by the time the leaders cross the line next, and this is the final lap of the race. So Kevin Stanzel is challenging. He's going up alongside Tim Bryce up towards the island bend. The fast left-hander, and he goes through, so Stanzel gains the place. And Wiggins having a battle with Matt Dunn. They turn their way through Oulton with Harvey Sykes chasing. What about the battle for fourth? That's Michael O'Brien up ahead. We're on board with Ben Sims. So Sims, who started from pole in his Jomo, in 5th place. Trying everything to get ahead of Michael O'Brien here. He drifts his way through Druids. He's right on the tail of O'Brien now. O'Brien having to defend down towards Lodge corner. This is the last overtaking opportunity on the lap, and really late on the brakes is Sims, but no way through around the outside. It's Richard Tarling that wins. He just holds off Callum Grant then, so the 3rd victory of the season for Richard Tarling. 2nd place, another podium for Callum Grant. 3rd goes to Stan Mitchell. 4th for Michael O'Brien, who just holds off Ben Sims. 6th will be Max Bartel. 7th for Ben Tilley. 8th is Dan Eaglin. It's side by side for 9th. Over Deers Leap they go. It will be James Buckton that just holds off Ed Thurston. In 11th is Roland Svensson, who got back ahead of Matt Wrigley a few laps from the end. Neil Shinner will hold off Cormac Flanagan to 13th place. Who's going to take 15th? This has been one of the battles of the race. It will be Kevin Stanzel. He's ahead of Tim Bryce. David Wiles also dropped another place on this final lap. That is Rob Smith who goes ahead of him. And Stuart Dix rounding off that great 5-car scrap. Flag is waved at Andrew Wiggins, who beats Matt Dunn and Harvey Sykes in their three-way battle. Stephen King is up next. Then it's Jake Stafford. Then Rudolph Ernst and Peter Hannum and Nigel Adams. Then Alex Meek is dropped back towards the end, so obviously he's had a issue of some description. They will take the flag. Another great historic Formula Ford race. Let's have a look at the results. It was Richard Tarling that won by just 0.12 of a second over Callum Grant. They had quite a good margin in the end to Sam Mitchell, who took 3rd ahead of Michael O'Brien and Ben Sims. Max Bartel beat Ben Tilley. Then it was Dan Eaglin, James Buckton and Ed Thurston that completed the top 10. The top 12 will automatically proceed to round 10 of the championship. The remaining runners will get another race later on today, as it is now, due to this delayed start. So they will take place in another qualification race before round 10 of the championship, and we look forward to that. Richard Tarling then wins and really bringing himself back into the championship hunt.